Hello.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Cole.
You're listening to Borrowed Bones, a podcast about fucked up, interesting, and toxic families.
Mm-hmm. It's been a minute since we were in it.
Yes, it's been, 2 months?
Yeah, thereabouts, since we've recorded an episode.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. We've had a lot of life happen.
With our ceiling caving in.
Yeah. Well, my double foot surgery, which I was doing okay.
Yeah.
And then...
We recorded since then, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then I started getting better, but I got a new job in the middle of healing.
Yeah.
So that was fun. And then...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. During my recovery.
Yeah.
But then our ceiling...
Caved in again, as it does pretty much every year. But
Yep. The apartment above us... water leakage, and then it turned into like a waterfall in our dining room, which was a lot of fun. And they're just finished with that. So that's been fun. And we're moving.
Yeah, that's the plan.
So yeah, there's just been a lot going on.
Yeah. Fighting the after effects of a head cold.
Oh, yes.
A migraine, so if I'm sounding congested or a bit more lethargic in my delivery than normal, that's why.
Yes. He's getting over a cold, and I still dragged him into the pod lab because I can't sit on this anymore. I've had the script ready to go for a while.
You almost got a fly on it.
Oh.
You can't contain it anymore. It's got to fly. The
subject. Oh,
subject.
I thought you meant fly like a bug.
I'm doing other things fly. This will make sense when the subject is revealed. This is a poor attempt at foreshadowing and pun-based foreshadowing.
This has clearly been a while since we've been here. We're not clean at all. Nothing crisp here today. Nope, we're going to fumble through this one, okay?
All right, let's go.
All right. Today, we are talking about the Wright family.
As in the Wright brothers.
And
Wright?
sister.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Like that Wright family.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
W-R-I-G-H-T. The Wright brothers.
Which Carolina was it? North, south?
North.
North, okay.
This is not about how they invented flight. This is in there, of course, but this is about the family and how did the Wright brothers...
Yeah, I don't know anything about them.
Yeah. How were they raised? How'd they get to the position of being airplane inventors? Like, how did you just turn into that?
I just know trivia.
Yeah.
They invented Orville and,
What's
Orville.
his name? Okay, well...
I don't remember the second one.
You will learn.
1903, right? That was the year?
Mm-hmm.
And the first flight was only like 18 seconds or something, technically.
I forgot the numbers. I
But
have
anyway,
it written down.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's like the basic. I knew it was one of the Carolinas. It wasn't even positive which of the two.
Yeah, let's get into it because there's
All right.
a lot that I did not know either, and I hope that this is a fun surprise for everyone else as well.
Yeah, I have no idea. Let's go.
All right. Susan Corner met Milton Wright in 1853 while she was attending Hartsville College in Indiana.
A woman
A woman. Ooh.
in the antebellum South attending college.
Indiana.
Oh, Indiana.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I just assumed Carolina in my head already. Again, I'm all hazy
Yes.
in my head.
This will be
I'm
fun.
not
He's
firing
on
all
cold.
cylinders.
There's cold medicine in him and a lot going on. Susan was a student of Hartsville College, and Milton was the college minister.
Okay.
He preached for the Church of the United Brethren in Christ, and that was the same church that Susan's family just joined.
All right.
So pretty natural that they met and fell in love.
One of those many Protestant sects of the time.
Yeah. Milton asked Susan to marry him right before he went on a church trip to Oregon. Like he does a lot of traveling throughout his whole adulthood with preaching for the church. When he asked her, he was like, I'm going to go to Oregon, though, but like, will you marry me? And she said, ask me upon your return.
Smart.
Yeah, that's what I thought, too.
Yeah.
He returned. He asked her again, and she accepted. They married in 1859. And the first part of their marriage, the couple moved around the Midwest a lot. For about the first half of their marriage.
Because he's like a circuit riding minister, right?
Yes.
So he's popping around. Okay. He doesn't have like one church that he moves around.
I didn't look too far into what the church is set up like, but that's the reason they moved is the church and because he eventually becomes the bishop.
Okay.
So he does travel a lot, and I don't know if it's tent revival. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They travel a lot because he's a bishop, and it's all in the Midwest.
Okay.
Ultimately, though, they settle in Dayton, Ohio in 1884.
Okay.
Yeah, we do a big jump here.
Yeah.
We'll go back and forth a little bit because the kids are going to be born, and this is just the background.
Yeah.
Susan would give birth to 7 children. 5 of them would survive to adulthood.
Not bad odds for the time.
Yeah, not too bad.
5 out of 7.
Yeah. The first child was a son named Reichlen. I'm pretty
Right.
sure I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Can I see it?
Hold on. He was born in 1861, and he was named after the German theologian.
Theologian.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
After the German theologian, Johann Reichlen.
Okay.
Reuchlin.
Sounds, yeah.
I looked it up, and that's how it was pronounced to me.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly. If you do know, please let me know.
I don't know any better.
In 1862, another boy was born. His name is Lorin. Lorin. And he was spelled
Okay.
after a random city that they found on a map.
Okay. Do you know which country that city was in?
I don't know.
Okay.
Susan then had twins, and they were the ones that did not make it past infancy.
It's fairly common in that era, too, the twins to die young.
They're usually premature.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I
Yeah.
was in the NICU for a few weeks. Sam and I don't know, we were like a month early almost. So
Jesse James, his wife had a set of twins that died in infancy between his surviving son and daughter.
See?
Just, yeah.
Wilbur.
Wilbur.
There it is.
Yeah.
He was born in 1867,
All right.
and he was named after a well-known minister at the time. Then Orville was born in 1871, and he was named after a respected clergyman.
Okay.
Then Katharine with a K was born in 1874.
Okay.
She wasn't named after anyone in particular, but because her name was Katharine, they wanted to make it special, so they added that K in there.
Okay. And, I mean, only the boys are named after notables.
Yeah.
Women weren't doing notable things before then.
Why? They could have at least named her
at least
after
the
her
church
mom.
trajectory.
Oh,
or if
yeah.
that's their, like, ministers. Like, there wasn't, like, female ministers probably for them to name a daughter after.
But they're still notable women.
There's always Mary. Like, nothing else. You just named Mary.
Well, they still gave her something with that K, because that was different for the time.
Yeah. Mary Kay.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Mary.
Yeah, there's no Mary. It's just Katharine. I read that Milton and Susan did not give middle names to their kids because their first names were distinct enough.
Yeah.
Like, they really made it a
Wright.
point. Yeah. As the siblings grew, they formed like 2 separate cliques. The older 2, Reichlen and Lorin, were close.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wilbur, Orville, and Katharine were close.
Okay.
And,
So, yes, there's 5 surviving. Yeah, so 2 eldest and 3, yeah.
And for the time, the late 1800s, the Wright children had a really great childhood. All of their emotional and physical needs were met, something you don't really hear too often from the 1800s.
They're fairly well-to-do or middle class, I guess you would, upper middle class.
I would think
at the
upper
time.
middle, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, their father's a minister or a bishop.
A bishop.
So he's got to be, not living lavishly, but he's in a position of esteem and
Yeah, they don't want
not hurt. Yeah, they're not
for
wanting for
anything.
anything.
Yeah. Susan and Milton believed all of their children needed to be well educated. Susan went to college.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she's a little feminist for her time.
Yes, and Milton is an abolitionist too.
Oh shit.
Yeah. They're liberal leaning for
Well,
sure.
this is after the Civil War now, though.
Well, he was raised an abolitionist. Sorry,
yeah.
It is after the Civil War.
1869 and I'm against slavery. Bold stance there.
Listen,
hey.
living in today's world, I don't know anymore when it ended. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, Milton did grow up with a family that did not support slavery.
Okay. Good to know.
Milton had a large library that the children were free to use whenever they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Susan encouraged curiosity and independent thought. She would repair and build toys around the house. She also fixed appliances that needed fixing, like sewing machines. There was a hand-cranked washing machine. I don't know if they had those things, but I was like, what appliances would she have fixed? So things like that.
This reminds me of the family from The Haunting of Hill House, the miniseries one. Like the dad and the 5 kids and the mom's at home, like taking care of everything. And I know, like, he wasn't a minister in that series, but just the family layout. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And the twins, but even though the twins didn't survive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see it.
But yeah. Anyway.
Wilbur and Orville would later give credit to their mom for their mechanical skills.
Okay.
They believed that they wouldn't have developed the same way with like their skills at mechanics.
Because they clearly
We're
would
so
have
rusty
been
at this.
naturally inquisitive and curious, and she just fostered that
Yes.
in them.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to like sharpen that talent.
Yeah. Some kids just naturally want to know how machines work.
And she encouraged it.
Yeah.
She said, let's figure it out together, boys. And they did. Of course, Wilbur and Orville were very close. They often played together, and they would start tinkering with toys and other things. They became very interested in aviation, though, in 1878, when their dad brought home a toy wooden helicopter that was, quote, motorized by a rubber band.
Okay.
And you would, I don't know
Right,
how it
wind it
worked,
up,
wind it up somehow, and then
like,
it would
yeah.
fly up and then slowly fall down.
Mm-hmm.
The boys liked it so much that it eventually broke from overuse, which then just caused them to create their own version of it. They're like, all right, well, let's make one ourselves. And they both do look back at this as the point of them being interested in flying.
That's their Book of Genesis moment.
Mhm. Now we're going to go to the older boys, Reichlin and Lauren. They attended Hartsville College together in Indiana, the same as their parents.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of them got a degree, though. They dropped out. They're like, that's not for us. They moved back to Dayton, and they lived in a boarding house for a year. This is 1884 now. And then Reichlin would marry in 1886, and he moved to Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay.
He stays there until the end.
Is he kind of out of the picture now? Or does
Yeah.
he? Okay, he's more or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Lauren also lived in Kansas City for a little bit with Reichlin, but then he would move back to Dayton in 1889 to be closer to the family because their mom, Susan, was dying of tuberculosis.
Oh, consumption.
Mm-hmm.
She's on longer.
It sounds like she had it for a while. I didn't write it down, but I think she had it for a few years.
People could live with it 20 years at times.
Gosh.
And it didn't always just infect, or doesn't, because it's still around, but like it wasn't always just the lungs. It could be different organs.
Really?
And, it could affect your livers, your intestines, your stomach.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just think
most commonly it was the lungs. That's what we think of, Doc Holliday.
You think of Doc Holliday.
You could have tuberculosis of your intestines, tuberculosis of your kidneys and whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to know about that. Anyway, so Susan Wright passed away in 1889.
All right. She never saw her kids go airborne.
No. Milton, the father, he wrote in his diary, "She expired, and thus went out the light of my home."
Aww.
Isn't that sad? Aww. Wilbur was Susan's main caregiver for the last 2 years of her life. He was staying by her side. He was all in. Katharine was only 15 when her mother died, and then she had to assume all of those responsibilities as woman of the house.
Mm-hmm.
She would manage the household, and whenever her father would travel, she would take care of everything. Milton was a nice dad. He was really great. You can get a sense of that. Like, he writes in his journal a lot. He loves his wife, but he still expected Katharine to rise to the occasion. He was like, you're going to high school, you're graduating, and you're going to maintain this household. And she was like, I got you, Dad. And then she did great. She graduated high school in 1893.
1893.
Mm-hmm.
What else happened? I don't know. For some reason, that date just flew in my head for some reason.
The Fox sisters were on their shit at this time.
Oh, okay.
Listen to that episode, guys. The Fox sisters.
Crossover.
Yeah.
We're playing Easter eggs for our previous ones.
Ooh.
The Borrowed Bones universe.
Yes. I'm creating a universe here.
We're all going to team up in our fanfic later.
I want to team up with Morbid.
Ooh.
Anyway, back to Lauren just for a second now.
The second born.
Yes.
I keep thinking of like Lauren Michaels to remember that it's a boy and not a girl. Even though it's spelled differently.
Okay, I was like, it's Lauren. Yes.
Yeah.
In 1892, Lauren married and had 4 children with his wife.
Same year, he had 4 children.
No. I'm just giving a background of these two guys of what's happening. So I don't want to forget about them, but this is what they're doing. Mm-hmm. He did grow close to Wilbur, Orville, and Katharine at this time when he went back home to be with his mom. Like I said, Reichlin is still in Kansas City.
Kansas City.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Lauren stays in Dayton. I also read that Reichland and the family had some distance between them because no one liked Reichland's wife.
Oh.
And I read that that was true, but I never got an explanation as to why.
She's a stone cold bitch.
So that's the distance there. Like nothing really happened. It just was like, I'm pretty sure that's it. Like they didn't like his wife.
She just didn't fit with the family vibe.
Yeah.
She just...
I don't know.
That girl
I'm not sure.
is just not my type of girl.
I guess so, yeah. Now back to Katharine.
Yeah.
After Katharine graduated high school, she attended Oberlin College from 1893 to 1898, and she did get her bachelor's degree.
93 to 98? She's there?
Mhm.
Okay.
Well, she graduated high school in 1893, so
Okay.
she's...
Where's Oberlin? I've heard of that one.
I forgot.
I don't want to state that soon.
Is it in Illinois? Look it up.
I'm going to look it up.
I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't.
Oberlin is in Ohio. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, it is Ohio.
It's a
yeah.
private college. It's a private liberal arts college in Oberlin, Ohio, known for its strong academics, progressive history, first co-ed college to admit black students, and renowned conservatory of music. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So anyway, yeah, it's in Ohio.
That's
that makes
why I
sense,
didn't-
consider they lived
yeah.
in Dayton.
That's why I didn't write it down, because I probably just assumed I'd remember.
If it was somewhere
was
far
Ohio.
flung, you would know, like,
Yeah.
where's that? It's in Nevada. Like, you would note that.
Again, it's been a while, so
Yeah.
we're shaking off the rust here.
Yeah. Dust off the bones.
Nice. Katharine is the only Wright child to get her college degree.
Really?
The brothers never went to college.
And she was still the fifth favorite.
Jeez.
Probably. That's cute.
Is
You got
it
a
'cause
college
she's a
degree.
woman?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. That's what it is. Unless one of the brothers turns out gay, maybe she could move up to rank 4.
Jesus.
For the times.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, she became a Latin.
What? She became Latina.
We have to get it
She's
together.
transracial in
God
the
damn it.
1890s.
Anyway, Katharine,
She was the head of the NAACP chapter.
I'm getting a laughing fit. Okay.
All right.
Work through it. We can do this.
Focus. Focus.
Okay, focus. Okay, Katharine became a Latin and English teacher.
Cool. And the language died on her shoulders.
Yeah, I know. She's like the last, one. Yeah.
I mean, it's still being taught.
Yeah, that's true. When Katharine returned to Dayton, Wilbur and Orville were beginning their aviation experiments.
Okay.
But before the boys actually really threw themselves into the business of flying, they got into a couple other fads of the time.
Yeah, I would
they
assume there
needed
was
to make some money
Missteps
first.
on the way. Or not missteps, but some
A
steps.
path, yeah.
Yeah.
They owned and operated a printing press from 1889 to 1899.
For 10 years. Okay.
10
gotcha.
years, yeah. I know. Sounds like one
Yeah, I
year
was like,
or
well,
10.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Threw me for a second. Again, headache.
Yes. Orville was still in high school at this time. He was 18 years old, though.
Oh.
So he,
It's a man.
yeah, that's a man.
Back then.
That was just an odd reaction. That's funny.
Adolescence is a 20th century invention.
Yeah. Okay. Orville was still in high school at the time, and Wilbur was 22 years old. The press itself was designed by Orville.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So they just started this right out of high school, basically.
Yeah.
I don't know what Wilbur did for, I think, he was helping his mom during his younger years.
Wilbur's the older of the two
Mhm.
of them. Okay. Wilbur and then okay.
Mm-hmm. So Wilbur didn't really do anything on his own right out of high school because he was taking care of his mom. So
Gotcha.
now they're ready to go.
Yeah.
They published their own newspaper called the West Side News. It was a weekly paper for the residents of Dayton to read.
On the west side.
Yeah, only the West Side.
Yeah.
Their dad supported them. He would have the boys print things for the church.
Right.
One contract with the church was for Wilbur to write an editorial about the United Brethren Church Commission.
Okay.
And the cover page credited Wright Brothers Job Printers as the publisher. And this is the first time we ever see the famous phrase,
Wright Brothers.
Wright Brothers, in reference to just Wilbur and Orville.
Yeah. Okay.
And this was about 1889 when this was published.
Okay, yeah, because
So-
that's when they started their
So
printing
Dad was like,
press.
here you go, I'll get you started. And this was the first time they have the Wright brothers.
Hmm.
The printing press grew. They were printing 500 to 1,000 sheets per hour thanks to Orville's improvements on the printing press. So he kept making it better.
Oh.
And they were able to outprint other
Okay.
printing presses in the area. Because it was so impressive, others would come to them and pay them to make printing presses for them as well.
Oh, all right. So,
So
it's
they-
become kind of a cottage industry for them.
Mm-hmm. In 1893, Lauren began working for Orville and Wilbur at the printing press. So he's around helping
He's
out.
working for his younger brothers.
It's really well.
It's a family business.
Yes, but
yes.
it's kind of Lauren does this because he knows that the brothers want to invent flying.
Okay.
So he's trying to help them, and a family business. Sure, I bet, because it was successful. So he's like, hey, what's going on here?
I need a job.
I got some kids. I had 4 kids in 1 year.
Yeah.
But yes, Lauren would probably tell you that he did it to help his brothers invent flying.
Yeah. Without me, they couldn't have done it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We don't know your name, Lauren.
Yeah. I thought this was interesting. It's a little sidebar, but Orville's high school friend, Paul Lawrence Dunbar, who is a black man, he later became a famous writer and poet. He began the Dayton Tattler newspaper, and the boys printed it for him.
Okay. It's very progressive of them again.
Mm-hmm.
Runs in the family.
Yeah, yep.
They're on the right side of history.
Hey! I never thought of that doing this whole thing. That's funny. That's punny.
That's why you need me.
Job security, huh?
Yeah.
But yes, the Dayton Tattler was a weekly paper for the black community in Dayton. However, Wilbur and Orville only printed 3 issues of it because they sold their printing press.
Okay.
They saw that newspapers were like a fad at the time. There was a newspaper on every corner, different companies, different people doing them.
Like a podcast.
Yeah, just like a podcast. We're not trying to invent things, though, and get a nest egg going from this. They're determined. The boys really started ramping up with their inventions and experiments after a man named, I had to look this one up too, he's German, a man named Lilienthal.
Otto?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Otto Lilienthal died in 1896. And then the boys were really like, okay, we need to get moving on
Now
this.
it's our turn.
Yeah. Well, he inspired them. And I wonder if just the news. He was a famous glider.
Right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
He was the first to create wings for flight.
Okay. But it wasn't technically like I don't know exactly what aeronautics are defined on, but there was no energy created.
Right.
Yeah.
There was no motor.
He's
just gliding. He couldn't
air
control.
currents. Yeah.
He was just gliding.
Yeah.
Yep. Now the boys were really interested in making money fast. They needed to fund their dream, and they saw this new bicycle craze that was everywhere at the moment. And the boys themselves loved riding bicycles, and they were always improving their bicycles and fixing them, repairing them, adding things to them as they do. They
Bells
like
and
to
whistles.
Bells and whistles, yes. And their friends would come to them when they needed repairs.
Yeah. Bring your penny farthing in.
Yeah.
Get your wheels oiled and lubed.
So the Wright brothers were like, let's open up a bicycle repair shop. Mm-hmm.
Did they sell vacuums too?
Oh, no.
That's a weird reference I just made because in Bay City, for some reason, where we live, there's bicycles and vacuum cleaners go together in stores. There's like 3 or 4 that are just vacuum cleaners and bicycles. And I've never, in my head, associated them as 2 items you'd buy together or shop for at the same time. But
yeah,
it's a thing in mid-Michigan. I don't know.
I have taken a vacuum to get repaired there and then browse the bicycles as I'm waiting for the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, it's weird.
So strange, but
It's
I love it.
Having we have microwaves and pogo sticks. That's what we have here. Why?
Yeah. So they start their own bicycle repair shop. They also will sell bicycles at this shop. It was called the Wright Cycle Company. Want to get high? Maybe not really, really high, but just a little bit. Just take the edge off. With Good Feels, you can do just that. Good Feels is a cannabis seltzer that is perfect for relaxation, enjoyment, or to take that edge off when you have to be around people and don't want to be. I feel that. Good Feels Cannabis Seltzer is sugar-free and made of high-quality, natural ingredients with flavors like blood orange, grapefruit, and pineapple mango. I finished a 6-pack of the pineapple mango and loved it. Not in one sitting. It was throughout the week, of course, but it was very nice to have one after I got home instead of alcohol. That's going to make me dehydrated and not feel so good the next day. This was a way for me to unwind, relax, and it was not too crazy where I'm stuck in the couch, but just enough to where I could watch a whole movie without being too distracted. If you're not into carbonation, no worries. Good Feels has you covered with mood boosters. These are drink enhancements you add to your water, controlling the amount of THC in your drink. I'm currently sipping on water that has been enhanced by the lemonade flavor, and I've got to tell you, it's pretty nice. Go to shop.getgoodfeels.com today and use our promo code BONES, BONES, to get 20% off. That's shop.getgoodfeels.com, promo code BONES. And remember, you got to be 21 to buy it. Shop.getgoodfeels.com, promo code BONES.
They're not the most original when it comes to branding. They're very literal. Just
Yes.
Wright Brothers this, Wright Brothers that.
Well, back then, everything kind of was.
Yeah.
I don't think you could trick people,
Yeah.
or you could easily trick people, and they didn't want that. They wanted to be very blunt.
Yeah. They didn't have like Bone Willie's Bike Store.
Yeah. Wilbur in Orville also had a machinist working for them at the bicycle shop. His name is Charlie Taylor, and he would end up helping with their experiments with flying eventually, too. So I just like to give him a shout out because he exists as well. These boys didn't do this alone is pretty much what I'm getting at here with this whole story.
Okay.
You learn how much help and not help, but support they had.
Mm-hmm. Sponsors.
Yeah. The Wright Cycle Company was very successful. It ran from 1892 to 1907.
Yeah.
They would have 5 locations by the end of it. And the final one was used for their flying experiments. And it's where they would build their first motorized plane. The 4th location of the bicycle shop was the last one that they did any bicycle business in. And it's also the only one left standing today.
Where's that at?
It is located on South William Street in Dayton, Ohio.
Oh.
And it's open to the public.
Is it like a museum or a functioning bike shop?
It is a part of the Dayton Aviation Heritage National Historic Park,
Okay.
referred to today as the Wright Cycle Company Complex.
Okay. Cool.
That's so funny. You asked the perfect questions that went straight with my script.
Yeah. Is it a functioning bike shop or is it a museum?
Can we do that every time?
Yeah.
Just you ask the questions that I assume you will? That's awesome. No, I like the surprises though too. Those are my favorite, really. But yes, this is a museum with multiple attractions. Of course, it has the Wright brothers, but it also has Paul Dunbar in the museum.
Okay.
This makes me kind of want to go to Dayton, Ohio.
I think I've been there. I think I've driven through it.
I mean, yeah, but like go there with a new set of eyes. Like actually go there as a tourist instead of just like, right? Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah. The tourism industry in Dayton, Ohio.
The Wright brothers. It's everywhere.
It's not even the thing they're most famous. It's not even the state that has them on the license plate.
Which is silly to me. It's so silly to me.
Yeah, we haven't even got to how they wound up in the Carolinas yet.
I know. It's crazy. We will.
Didn't Randy Newman do a song called Dayton, Ohio? Someone did a Lacrimose piano ballad. I think it was Randy Newman. I don't know. Go ahead.
I'll have to look for it.
I'm going to see if I can find it. I just want to see if it's true or not. So, yeah, Randy Newman has a song that I thought was called Dayton, Ohio, but it's not just Dayton, Ohio. The full title is Dayton, Ohio, 1903.
Oh, see?
And it's about the Wright brothers, essentially. Yeah, it's all about, The song came out in 1972 off his album Sail Away. So, yeah.
Anyway, their bicycle business was so successful that they made somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 a year, which equates to $77,000 to $116,000 a year.
Damn.
So,
by today's standards.
Pretty good, yeah, by today's standards. They were able to save up $5,000 to finance their experiments. That's about $194,000 today.
Okay.
By 1902, the brothers were not very involved in their bicycle shop anymore. The day-to-day stuff was managed mostly by Lauren and Katharine.
Mm-hmm.
She's still teaching.
Yeah.
Katharine's still teaching, still minding the household because her dad is still traveling everywhere as a bishop and helping the brothers with their bicycle shop and their experiments.
Okay.
They sold their bicycle company in 1907.
Not to Lauren, though, right?
No. Nope. The whole family's in it together.
Yeah.
They all move with the brothers, okay? In 1909, this is when they converted their 5th bicycle shop building into the machine shop.
In Flint, Michigan. I'm just joking because that's like a music venue in Flint.
Oh, yes, that's right.
I've never been to it because my kind of bands don't go there, but...
Oh.
Yeah. But I've heard things.
I've never been. I just know it exists.
Yeah.
Okay. The boys do give credit to their bicycle days, saying that it let them practice and improve on their mechanical skills.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great example of it. So Katharine was like hanging around with the boys while they were tinkering with things, trying to figure out this wing warping for the plane.
Okay.
So they have the glider, but they need to learn how to manipulate the wings to do what they want them to do for direction. And they called it wing warping. And Wilbur twisted a bicycle inner tube box to show Orville his breakthrough idea for warping aircraft wings and how they can imitate birds' wings. So they pretty much played with the bicycles to learn how to make airplanes.
Okay.
And maybe that's what the bicycle shop and the vacuum cleaners do, because they repair vacuum cleaners at the store in Bay City.
What?
So maybe they use their mechanical
I don't even think they're the
skills.
same parts.
No, they're not.
Like, and I'm sure there's some overlap, but like, no more than like any other household appliance. Like, what? It's so baffling to me.
Come to Bay City, get a vacuum and a bicycle.
Yeah.
One-stop shop.
Yeah.
Okay. The boys' first experiments with wing warping were made with like small plane kites that were flown in the summer of 1899. The wing warping that they figured out how to do allowed them to control the direction of the kite. So for them, that was success. They were like, all right, now we're going to make a full-sized glider and try this wing warping out. In September of 1900, the boys took their first flying machine to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina to test it out.
Why do they go from Ohio to North Carolina?
Lauren actually helped them pick the location.
Okay.
Because it was a little more of a private area, not a lot of prying eyes, but mainly a lot of space, a lot of wind, and good elevation.
Okay.
They never lived there, to my knowledge.
I was like, yeah.
They would go there for the experiments and then come back to Dayton.
Okay. So maybe Lauren or someone like just researched ideal locations.
That's my takeaway from it. I didn't search too hard, but I did read that. So I do believe that that's the case, that they were like, this is a good spot to do it because of the physics of it all.
Okay.
Yeah. When they made their first trip to test the glider, Katharine lent Wilbur her trunk and she packed food for them. While they were gone, she let Orville know that she fired the guy that he put in charge of the bicycle shop.
Oh.
She's like, by the way, I fired this guy.
What was he doing?
I don't know.
Embezzling.
But who knows? Probably
Embezzling pennies,
stealing something.
Penny farthings. I just like any chance I get to reference penny farthings because they're a ridiculous thing. Like,
bring them back.
There's hipsters who are, but anyway.
We did see them quite a bit in the millennial days.
Oh, yeah.
In like 2014,
yeah, we did see
13.
A couple. Yeah.
They were trying to come, millennials, we can do better.
Yeah.
No, I don't care. I want them back. We can't do better. I want them back. Wilbur and Orville would test their first Wright glider in October of 1900. So they went to Kitty Hawk in September. They're still there. They have to like put things together when they're there. So about a month later, they're ready to test their first glider.
Okay.
And they flew it like a kite, even though it was huge.
So they're not on it.
Not on it right now.
It's not a man's aircraft.
It can hold a man, but they try it first like a kite.
Okay. Smart.
Mm-hmm. And they weren't quite there yet. They still needed to improve. But Wilbur was asked to speak to the Western Society of Engineers in Chicago in September of 1901. So even though they weren't where they wanted to be, they were further ahead than others. And the Western Society of Engineers wanted to hear what he had to say. Wilbur didn't want to go. He didn't like public speaking. Both him and Orville are very much the awkward inventors.
Yeah. We're into it for pure research.
Yeah, like they didn't want to do it. But Katharine wrote to her dad, wrote a letter, and said that she nagged him into going. She also said that she helped Wilbur pick out an outfit. She wanted him to look swell. And Wilbur has bad taste in clothing, so she chose Orville's clothes to give to Wilbur. So she outfitted him for this speech.
Yeah, it's a presentation.
Katharine, also in a letter to her dad, said that she felt the meeting in Chicago would provide Wilbur with the opportunity to get acquainted with some scientific men, which may do him a lot of good.
Okay.
She understood
she might
connections.
Find some friends and some peers and networks.
Right. Networking, connections. And I think the boys were just like, we don't care. We don't need anyone.
Yeah.
And
we
she
have
was
each
like,
other and our flight and our planes.
Cole and I love cookies. We are pretty much obsessed. They're always in our house. It's very much a staple, one of the main food groups for us. However, I am not the best cook. I can't bake to save my life. I did discover Molly B's cookies that are shipped right to us. They stay nice, soft, and moist as if they have been baked right in my kitchen. Molly B's cookies are very creative and unique with flavors ranging from triple dip, a triple chocolate chip cookie with sea salt flakes, to their hot mess cookie with mango, white chocolate, and flamin' hot Cheetos. I was not brave enough to get the hot mess, but I did try the triple dip and it was amazing. I personally really like the Molly B's Boba Doodles. These are little bite-sized cookies and they're great for on the go. In these boba doodles, they do have a burst of boba in every little cookie. Check out mollybees.com and grab the treat that's right for you. You can use our promo code BONES, BONES, at checkout and you'll receive 10% off. That's Molly Bees, MOLLYBZ.com, promo code BONES. That is kind of the vibe of the boys. It is. And Katharine's like, we can do a lot more if we just network, though. Like, we can do more.
I don't know if either married, and I hope you don't tell me till it becomes germane.
Okay. In October of 1902, this is when they had their first successful gliding experiment with control. Okay. So they could glide with control now, but they're still not powering their own plane. But they can control the glide. So that's the next step.
Okay.
Before leaving on their 1902 Kitty Hawk trip, Orville and Wilbur worked at home on fabric wings. They were like literally sewing them and making them. And I just thought this was a cute little window into their home life because Katharine writes a lot of letters to her father. So this is another letter to her father. She says, Will spins the sewing machine around by the hour, while Orv squats around marking the places to sew. There is no place in the house to live, but I'll be lonesome enough by this time next week and wish that I could have some of this racket around. It's just, I like that little picture that it painted, just them feverishly working and she's just kind of watching them tending the home. And it's annoying, but I am going to miss it when it's gone because they basically go to Kitty Hawk, do the experiments, figure out what they have to do, go back to Dayton, do tweak this and that, and then they go back to Kitty Hawk. It's just back and forth all the time.
I want to see how the distance is from Dayton.
I didn't look it up.
To Kitty Hawk.
I'm going to pause it.
So today, if you're driving from Dayton, Ohio to Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, it'd be almost exactly 11 hours.
Oh, wow.
If you're bicycling, it'd take 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, they would stay there.
It's 750 miles, roughly.
They would stay there for like months.
Okay.
Or so. Yeah, they would stay there for a long time. No, yeah, they would stay there for a long time. So I don't know where they stayed when they were, if they had a second house. I didn't look that far into that because I didn't want this to be a two-parter. Yeah. So I had to cut it off. But if you guys want more on this, I can definitely do a two-parter. And I'll just redo it. But I wanted to keep it one. The boys returned to the Outer Banks of North Carolina in September of 1903. They spent 7 weeks assembling, testing, and repairing their powered flying machine. They were constantly testing it, so they haven't really done it yet, right? September 1903. They've done little tests here and there, but nothing major. Finally, on December 17th, 1903.
Just barely made it another year. I should just wait until January 1st.
Why?
Because then it's starting off the new year.
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah. But now they can say they invented flight 1 year earlier than,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
But in December of 1903, Orville made the first successful powered flight. He covered 121 feet for 12 seconds.
Oh, okay. I knew it was like less than a half minute.
Yeah.
It was like 18 seconds, and it was somewhere around there.
Well, then Wilbur flew it, and he went 175 feet, also in 12 seconds.
Okay.
Orville went again, 200 feet in 15 seconds. And then the final flight of that day was Wilbur flying 825 feet for 59 seconds.
Oh.
This was the first time in history that a heavier-than-air flying machine demonstrated power and sustained flight under complete control of the pilot. Very specific.
Yeah.
That's for a reason.
There's a lot of other people who've claimed they've invented or discovered. Is it invented or discovered? Because the laws of aeronautics
Invented powered
are
flight.
Invented powered flight.
Invented
yes.
controlled flight, invented powered
But you
flight.
discover the laws of aerodynamics, I guess.
Probably, yeah. But this was very specific. Like Otto Lilienthal, he obviously didn't invent flying. They give him credit for inventing the glider.
Yeah.
So, yeah. These first flights were witnessed by 5 locals. That's it. Because, again, they like to stay private.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were trying to invent powered flight at this time. It was like a race, basically. Like, who's going to do it first?
It's like a lot of the scientific community at the time knew it was possible.
Yes.
Theoretically.
Yeah, it was like right there.
How do we do it?
Yeah.
How do we find the combination? How do we tap the laws of aerodynamics? Yeah.
There's even a lot of the planes would get launched instead of having a runway.
Aeronautics, not aerodynamics.
Oh, I didn't even hear you
Aeronautics is
say
what I meant
that.
to say.
Yeah,
Sorry,
you're right.
correct myself.
Good call. I didn't hear it. I just heard aeronautics because Anyway, yes, so there were only 5 locals there because the Wrights wanted their privacy. And then once they succeeded, they packed up and went to Dayton because they were like, all right, we did it. Now we're going to like really hone in on this and figure it out. But we don't want everyone to be watching us.
What if they were just like, we did it. So what are the next thing we're going to invent?
Yeah. Thanks,
We're going to
bye.
invent scuba gear next. Like, what? They just do it for the fun of doing it and then move on to some other,
By October of 1905, they could stay in the air for 39 minutes, and they could do circles and simple maneuvers.
Okay. Huh.
So just 2 years later. Yeah.
It is always amazing, without me knowing the steps of it, how quick the whole world got on board airplanes.
Yes.
Like how short of a span from 1903 to, World War I, just a little bit over 10 years later, and there's planes in the war.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
As they gained fame and notoriety, they realized that they didn't have any of their inventions protected. Uh-oh.
Patented.
So then they got into even more hiding. They just kept even more private. They sort of stopped everything for a little bit and then focused on the legal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This is now 1906, 1907, and the public is becoming skeptical of their claim because only 5 people saw it and then no one saw it again.
Yeah.
But at this point, though, the Wrights weren't really concerned about the public image. They were already in negotiations with certain financiers.
Okay.
They had government purchasing agents in Europe and America. So they just didn't care about the general public at the time. They were business-minded.
Mm-hmm.
In February of 1908, they signed a contract with the U.S. Army. They sold one of their planes to them, and they received $250,000 for that plane.
Wow.
$8.8 million today.
This is one plane.
One plane.
Wow.
Yeah. And by this point, the plane could fly for a little over an hour with an average speed of 40 miles per hour. And there was enough room for a passenger in this plane. So you could have 2 people.
Okay. Yeah.
On September 17th, 1908, Orville was flying his plane doing a demonstration for the U.S. Army with a passenger. And the passenger was Lieutenant Thomas E. Selfridge. During this flight, the right propeller split and shattered, causing the plane to crash from an altitude of about 100 feet.
Okay.
Orville was very injured, And Lieutenant Selfridge, he suffered from a fractured skull and died.
So is he the first human to die in the air?
He is the first to die in a powered airplane crash.
Wow.
Yes.
How come the brothers never get that credit? Not only did we invent flight, we invented dying in flight.
Well,
I killed the first man in the sky.
Orville's injuries were very bad. He broke his femur bone and his hip.
Oh.
He had lacerations to his scalp, and he had multiple broken ribs. He was in the hospital for 7 weeks, and he suffered from chronic pain in his leg and hip for the rest of his life. Upon hearing of Orville's plane crash, Katharine immediately left her teaching job to be by his side. She helped take care of him during his entire stay at the hospital, so that whole 7-week period. Katharine then brought him back to Dayton for the rest of his recovery. He needed a wheelchair for the next several weeks, and then he slowly moved to crutches until he was able to fully walk again.
Okay.
An Army surgeon was quoted as saying, "It is dubious whether the aeroplane inventor would have survived his injuries had it not been for the loving care of his sister." I love Katharine Wright. She's one of my new historical crushes.
And she's still Katharine Wright at this point. She's not married herself? Okay.
None of them are yet.
Okay.
Nope. In December of 1908, Wilbur went off to France to demonstrate their plane, looking to make more deals. Wilbur wanted Orville and Katharine to come with him. He wanted Katharine to act as their social manager and leave teaching. He wrote to her saying, "We will be needing a social manager and can pay enough salary to make the proposition attractive."
Yeah, they're essentially millionaires by our standards.
Yeah, they're like, "We'll pay you."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, yeah, all right, let's do it."
Yeah.
So she quit teaching and went. So Orville and Katharine met up with Wilbur early in 1909.
I just thought of her. But there's such a future in Latin, though.
Yeah, I know.
We are literally inventing something that's never been done before. You're sticking with the language people haven't spoke colloquially in centuries.
Yep. Katharine would introduce the boys to counts, dukes, and kings. King Alfonso of Spain said that Katharine was the ideal American. She was also the subject of a World Magazine article titled "The American Girl Whom All Europe is Watching." I know, she was like making waves.
Nice.
There's a quote from the article that says, "Few know what she has done. Few know how hard she has worked to make her brother's machine a working accomplishment. But the Wright brothers realize it all and pay her due tribute. Hats off, then, to Miss Katharine Wright, who has ever been the mainstay of her brothers in their many efforts to conquer the air."
Okay. So they are giving her her time in the spotlight. They're not trying to, we're the inventors. You're just the woman stay in the back.
Yep.
They're giving her equal footing.
Yeah. Yep. Mama raised them right. Hi, right. Sorry.
That one flew over my head.
Shut up.
Briefly, like that guy that Orville got killed.
Oh, God. Before leaving Europe, Katharine was awarded the French Legion of Honor along with her brothers, so all three of them were. And then when they returned home to Dayton, Ohio in May of 1909, they were met with great celebration. And then that June, they went to Washington, D.C. and met with the President of the United States. Who is it at this time?
Roosevelt? No, right after Roosevelt. Harding? Taft.
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 Yes. William Howard Taft.
Big old Taft.
Yeah.
He was our fattest president. So far.
Yeah, so far.
He did not get stuck in a bathtub, though.
No,
That
but it's
was
fun
bad.
to think about. Anyway, Taft presented them with medals from the Aero Club of America, and he referred to Katharine as the most important member of the family. Yeah, progressive.
Yeah.
Now, Katharine was still working on patents and battling over who technically flew first. She was helping fight that fight while the boys were still making the deals and doing all that. So that's still happening in the background.
Between the two of them at first. Like, they're going to bicker over who flew between the two brothers.
No.
Like,
yeah, sorry.
who gives a shit between the two of them? That's petty.
No, they're basically the same person. They don't care.
Other people, competitors.
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
So
that makes sense.
That's just going on in the background constantly throughout all of this. And the Smithsonian Institute credited Samuel Langley as the inventor of the first powered airplane. However, his 1903 aircraft was not able to actually fly until 1914, after this guy named Glenn Curtis made major modifications to it.
Oh.
So this is going to get kind of messy because it's legal and there's some shadiness
I think that's
here.
where like Langley Air Force Base and everything's named after. I've heard that name like
Probably.
in the Air Force. There's a lot of things named Langley.
Yeah. He was something else before all, like he was something.
I think the CIA
Again, this could have been like a 2 to 3 parter, so I didn't want to go down too many roads, but he was someone. Yes. He was someone. Mm-hmm. We're jumping ahead here just so we get the legal stuff out of the way, okay?
Mm-hmm.
In 1914, Lauren Wright, he spied on Glenn Curtis when they were trying to make Samuel Langley's 1903. It was called an aerodome fly, but they made modifications to it. But the reason Curtis was doing this was because he wanted to prove that Langley was the first to fly and not the Wrights, because Langley wanted to skirt around the patents. He didn't. He wanted to do whatever he wanted to do because Langley's dead at this point.
Okay, yeah, and his patent that might have existed or did exist, but even that it didn't come into fruition. Is that kind of?
Well, there's so many patents going around, and this one did go through. Like the Wrights did claim that they were the first ones, and there was a patent for it. Like that did happen, but people kept fighting it, so they had to keep defending it.
Gotcha.
And Curtis is one of those.
Okay.
And he was saying Langley did it first because Langley was testing his aerodome at the exact same time as the Wrights were in December of 1903. But he never got it to fly with control.
Yeah.
He never could. But Curtis wants that to have happened because then the patent for the Wright brothers doesn't exist anymore because they're not the first. So that's what Curtis was trying to do. Lauren Wright, I want to say like Brother Lauren, but that sounds like a monk.
Yeah.
So Lauren was caught spying on them in 1914. He had a camera and he was caught spying on them and they took the film out. But according to Lauren, they were not successful in making this Samuel Langley's aerodome fly. But the Smithsonian still gave him credit for it, which is weird. So I looked into it more and I was like, okay, who is Samuel Langley? And I don't know exactly what he did, but I know that he's from Massachusetts and he's from like the blue bloodline, like John Adams and Mathers.
Okay.
Those two last names. Yeah. And the government, the U.S. Army, invested in him. They gave him money to make this. They poured everything in him. The Wright brothers paid for everything themselves. He had money given to him. I don't know why, but the U.S. government just they bet on him and not the Wright brothers.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure that's why the Smithsonian Institute was like, we are giving credit to Langley. And I think that's why we have such confusion with it today. So even though it seems pretty obvious that Langley wasn't the first one to do it because his aerodome can only fly with modifications to it. Like, that
he didn't himself do.
Exactly. Yeah. However, the Smithsonian refused to retract their statement. They sided with Curtis in 1914. And they said, yeah. And then in 1928, Orville lent his restored 1903 airplane to the Science Museum in London. And he told the Smithsonian he's not giving it to them until they apologize. And they did apologize in 1942.
Oh, so now if you go to the Smithsonian today, today,
Yeah.
but 10 years ago or more, it would have said that
the Wright brothers,
okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you went there in 1930, it would have said Langley.
Okay.
So that's a bit of a sidebar. That's kind of off track, but it also is important because that's a big part of what they were doing this whole time as well. Okay, so let's get back to the family. We're out of the legal world. That's the hard part. We're done. In 1911, Katharine and her brothers would have their last Christmas together, all of them.
Okay.
Wilbur passed away of typhoid fever in May of 1912.
Wilbur, and he was the one that was injured in the crash? Or
Nope, Orville.
Yeah. Okay.
Orville's the younger of the two, closer in age with Katharine.
Orville's the younger, injured in the crash.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Wilbur dies of typhus in 1911?
12. Yep. After Wilbur's burial in the family plot in Dayton's Woodland Cemetery, Milton wrote in his diary, he's still alive. Yep. He writes in his diary, probably Orville and Katharine felt his loss the most. They say little. So that's just sad. They all write quite a bit. There's a lot. If you guys want to look up journals and letters, they're out there. There's a lot of them. They wrote a lot. So you can really see what's going on inside their heads. Upon Wilbur's death, in his will, he gave Katharine, Lauren, and Reichlin $50,000 each. That's about $1.7 million today.
Yeah.
And he gave his dad $1,000, which is like $34,000 today. Yeah. And of course, he left the business, the company, to Orville.
Okay.
After Wilbur died, Orville's enthusiasm for aviation waned quite a bit, and he leaned heavily on Katharine at this point.
One of my wings is gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good way to think of it. Aw. I know you were doing it to make fun of, you were making fun of him, but that's
not really.
sad.
Just commentary. Not everything I do is making fun. It's just making something.
Okay.
It's all right.
Okay. Want to pause?
And we're back.
But Katharine would continue to encourage Orville to keep going and keep moving. They actually had the whole family had plans to make a mansion called Hawthorne Hill. It is in Oakwood, Ohio, and it's still around today.
You visit it?
You can. I don't know if it's free or costs or anything, but yes, it's a public thing.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
They broke ground on Hawthorne Hill in August of 1912, and a year and a half later, Katharine, Orville, and Milton all move in.
This is just my take. It's kind of weird that they're all adults who are
none of them are married.
We're all going to live together.
No one's married.
Why? All right.
They didn't get married yet.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't think they're gonna. They
seem how you do it.
I lost track of their age, but they seem to be past. If it's gonna happen, it might happen. But
yeah, they're in their 40s,
the pressure's not there.
50s, something. Yeah, they're older now. Yeah. In 1914, I just thought this was interesting because there's a connection to Michigan here. Katharine and Orville went to Grand Rapids, Michigan, to purchase furniture for Hawthorne Hill. Okay. She wanted the dining room to have the best and prettiest pieces. She was anticipating that holiday dinners and parties would be hosted there with extended family and important people, dignitaries. She just envisioned that life for them. And she was right.
Is Lauren there too? Do we know? I'm just curious.
Oh, he lives with his wife and 4 kids.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he's still
got
around.
Married.
That's right. He did get married, so did
the eldest, Reichlin
but
got
the
married.
3 youngest did not.
Yeah.
The 2 eldest did normal things for the 1800s and early 1900s. The 3 younger, it was also kind of normal, man. I mean, a lot of families just lived together forever. That wasn't that uncommon. I don't know. There's compounds now.
Yeah.
Family compounds out in the thumb.
Yeah.
Anyway, Katharine was right, and Hawthorne Hill's guests would include people like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Alexander Graham Bell, and Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Oh.
Interesting, yeah.
They had wheelchair ramps?
No. I don't know.
FDR. Probably before the polio.
Yeah. Now, ever since Wilbur's death, Orville became very guarded about his relationship with his sister. And he would even get jealous of others if she got too close to them.
Oh.
Yeah, it got weird. To everything I read, though, there was no incest or anything. Katharine was normal. Okay. Orville was weird.
Okay.
He just had this dependency.
Yeah.
Orville sold his interest in the Wright Company in 1915.
Okay.
The lawsuits and patent disputes all ended in 1917 because that's when it expired. Milton passed away in April of 1917. He died in his sleep, and he was 88.
Damn, he had a good run.
Mm-hmm. He might have had pneumonia. I read on the newspaper that of the time that stated his death, they said that he had a cold and died in his sleep.
At that age.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming it was pneumonia. Yeah. Reichlin died of a stroke in 1920, and he was still living in Kansas City.
He lived 3 years longer than his dad.
Yeah. Lauren began focusing more on himself and his own ventures throughout the 1920s and 30s. He became the owner and president of Miami Wood Specialties.
In
Miami, Ohio.
Yeah, I always get a crack up for the fact that there's a Miami, Ohio.
Yeah.
Like every day you wake up there, you'd be like, fuck.
I know.
Fuck.
This sucks.
It's like living in Paris, Texas, or any of these cities that have like these American cities that take these great. I mean, obviously Miami, Florida's but
still,
American
yeah.
city. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A good city,
You take a good city
and put it in a
some
shitty
podunk
spot. You're like, why?
Tom
Why?
Segura has that one about like Paris, Tennessee. Like, oh, buongiorno. Well, I'm gonna forget where I'm at.
But the wood toy company, they were known for making flips and flops.
Pancakes? This is what you're talking about?
No. Flips and flops are names of clowns. One is named Flips and one is named Flops, and these toy clowns would flip and flop, and the toy was created by Orville, and he also patented them.
Oh.
Yeah. They were like very popular.
Okay.
It was like the 1920s, man.
Yeah.
They also made a lot of wooden airplanes. That was one of their other big sellers, so that's cute. Lauren's keeping in touch with his past.
Yeah.
Lauren also served as a Dayton City Commissioner from 1919 to 1927.
Okay.
And he died of natural causes in 1939. And he was buried with his siblings at Woodland Cemetery. So they have like a family plot. Orville remained active in the aeronautics community. He was a member of the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics from 1920 to 1948.
Man.
And during the last 4 decades of his life, he devoted a lot of his energy to defending himself and Wilbur as the inventors of the airplane. While this is all happening, Katharine is doing her own thing. She became active in the women's suffrage movement. She helped organize a march in Dayton of about 1,300 people in 1914. The march was for the right for women to vote. And this is before her dad died, so Milton and Orville both marched with her.
Nice.
The march was unsuccessful. We didn't get the right to vote in 1914. Yeah. But they were fighting the fight. She also became active in the Young Women's League and the Dayton College Women's Club. She became the president of both. She then became a trustee at Oberlin College. And as a trustee, she reconnected with former classmate Henry, who went by Harry Haskell. They would eventually marry.
Nice.
Katharine was 52 years old when she married Harry in 1926.
And next to no risk of children.
Yeah. Now, the Wrights were still at Hawthorne Hill entertaining famous high-end guests, but now Orville was the only one entertaining them. When Charles Lindbergh arrived in 1927.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I know. That's interesting.
I didn't trying to convert him into Nazism, was he?
I did not go down that rabbit hole. No. That's too big.
So the real threats are, oh, God.
Yeah.
Shut up, Lindbergh.
Yeah. Katharine was not present because the previous November is when she married Harry.
Oh.
And Orville felt abandoned and betrayed, and he refused to speak to her ever again. Because she got married at the age of 52.
That was going to happen eventually. Either she stays loyal to him only, or he ends up never speaking to her again.
Yeah.
That was going to happen.
That was the choice, yeah. Now, he was so upset, and this is the reason why we don't know about Katharine and why she's the forgotten sister. Orville is a little prick. He's a little bitch boy and would probably be on the manosphere right now.
He wrote her out.
He went on a mission to scrub her name from everything she's done for the brothers. Everything.
This certainly seems incestuous.
Yeah. I think for him it was.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing happened.
No.
But I think he would have done anything.
Strange.
Yeah.
Would he have, obviously his brother died, but had his brother married?
Yeah. What would he feel?
Would he do the same thing?
Exactly.
Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
He'd probably be hurt, maybe, but I don't.
Yeah.
Who knows?
It was weird. Yeah. There was an Associated Press internal memo from a few months after Katharine's wedding that was found in an archive. So there was this internal memo, and here's what it says.
Okay.
We have accepted as a true story that Mrs. Katharine Wright, sister of the Wright brothers, contributed financially and scientifically to the first success of the airplane. The Wright family has shown that this is not true. The Wright family meaning Orville.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah, dad's dead.
Yeah.
Brother's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please see to it that any item offered in our service refrains from accepting as true this very pretty story of sisterly support in this achievement.
She could just write the opposite and say that.
Yeah, but who's going to believe her?
I know. But
the second a woman is, I mean, yeah. So, yeah, Orville is the reason that his sister isn't praised today.
Well, he had the unfortunate name of Orville his entire life.
He would speak to Katharine one more time, though. Katharine had pneumonia in 1929. Orville relented, and he went to see her. She was in Kansas City at this time, and he saw her one time, spoke to her one time before she died. Having denied Katharine a wedding at Hawthorne Hill, which is where she wanted to wed, but Orville said no, he did hold her funeral there. She was buried beside Wilbur, and in a tribute to Katharine helping her brothers change the world, Orville had airplanes drop flowers on her grave. Orville continued on, and he worked as a consulting engineer during World War I. Helping the U.S. Army, he assisted in the development of a pilotless aircraft bomb.
A missile.
Oh, probably.
Or a torpedo.
Something like that,
basically.
Right? I didn't think of that. I guess I was thinking more of like a drone, but yeah, that would make more sense.
Because the drone doesn't blow up.
Yeah. Duh. I don't know.
Yeah.
Orville lived at Hawthorne Hill until his own death from a heart attack in 1948. Upon his death, he donated $300,000 to Oberlin College in Katharine's honor.
Okay.
So he felt guilt, obviously, but like he still should have gone on a fixing tour and been like fixed her name, you know?
Send another memo to the AP.
Yeah.
And be like, disregard the previous memo. She did contribute.
Yeah, like she did actually help. I don't know. I just don't know why he didn't do that. Orville then joined Wilbur and Katharine in Woodland Cemetery. They have identical headstones with Orville on one side of Katharine and Wilbur on the other. And in death, as in life, this remarkable woman is forever at the center of things.
And neither of the brothers married or had kids.
Mm-mm.
Nice.
No. Katharine helped them have a life.
Yeah. Two thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of random. But one, is I thought, maybe we always forget that there's, manned flight, but hot air balloons back as early as at least the Civil War. So there's people in the air at certain points before them.
Yes.
So also theoretically, maybe someone was shot out of a basket and died in the air. So maybe it wasn't that guy that rode with...
No, he wasn't the first one to die in the air. Oh. He was the first one to die from a powered flight.
Powered flight, okay.
The vocabulary here is very specific. The Wright brothers are the first controlled powered flight inventors.
But I do want to know now, did anyone ever die in a basket? Who was the first person to die in the air?
You know what? We'll let the commenters tell us that. I'm not looking anything else up on Google today.
Second thought.
Yes.
Everyone always blames, justifiably so, but Oppenheimer for the A-bomb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But the A-bomb would be useless if there weren't planes drop them out of.
True.
Or the unmanned missiles that he also helped develop clearly at the end. So
I know. That's what makes me think.
We never would have looked into how we split the atom and drop this bomb on someone if we didn't have something to drop it out of.
But also, similar to what was happening during that time with the bomb, multiple scientists and countries were working on it. So someone was going to invent it. Someone was going to invent this powered flight because we had the knowledge that it was possible.
Yeah.
So it sucks. I mean, humanity is its own downfall. That's it. Like, if it wasn't them, it'd be someone else. It'd be someone else. It'd be someone. There's always someone else.
Yep.
But yes, that is the Wright family. Look into Katharine Wright, you guys. Once you start looking into her, she's everywhere, but no one really talks about her that much. So look her up. There's some podcasts out there. And
I just thought, I wonder what happened to her husband who died. If she's buried between her brothers, where did her husband end up?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
But yes, that is it. We're back finally. Yay. And I'll be a little more regular from this time on because the sun is out and it's a lot easier to get through life when it's sunny out. So that's it. Follow us on Instagram, Borrowed Bones Podcast. Leave a comment on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. That helps us a lot. Engagement is great. Also, thank you everyone who is asking if we're coming back. I didn't realize people were consistently listening.
Oh.
And also, I'm still seeing quite a few new listeners coming on. So thank you to everyone that's new. Thank you to the people that have asked us to please keep going because you guys thought that we were maybe done. We're not. We just took a pause. We are back, and I appreciate all the support. And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.